Farming is in a constant state of evolution. Equipment grows more powerful and efficient. Seed hybrids continue to be refined for stronger plants and higher yields. Chemical products become more effective and cost-efficient. The list of changes goes on and on. Even farming methods have changed dramatically. Take, for instance, tillage practices. Statistics show that 4 out of every 5 growers now incorporate some form of conservation tillage, and its benefits are substantial. It saves fuel, labor, and of course, precious topsoil. Unfortunately, this reduction in tillage has also increased the need for better weed control measures.
As no-till comes in, you get a change in the preponderance of weed species. They're all still there, and you get a whole bunch of new ones. The older ones sometimes diminish in their intensity and their importance, but they still maintain themselves. And then you get many simple perennials, biennials, perennials that you normally don't get in tilled ground.
Fortunately, there's now a new weapon in the arsenal from Valent USA to help control today's weed problems. Presenting Resource, the post-emergent broadleaf herbicide tank mix product with a new chemistry to control tough velvet leaf and lamb's quarters in both corn and soybeans. It's like no other product on the market today. Teamed up in early season with a broadleaf or grass herbicide, Resource provides powerful control of velvet leaf and lamb's quarters and improves control of a broad spectrum of other broadleaf weeds. Used later in the season, Resource handles velvet leaf at any stage like no other herbicide on the market today. And Resource's wide window of application lets you apply in beans up to pod set and in corn up to the 10-leaf stage.
The wide window of application that Resource gives us is a benefit as far as the weather is concerned. We have a much broader time to spray. We're not dictated by the weather in a short period of time. We can choose our days to spray, not worry about the weeds outgrowing the capabilities of the herbicide. Resource is very beneficial with this wide window of application.
Resource is big news for corn and soybean growers everywhere when you consider how tough it can be to control broadleaves such as velvet leaf and lamb's quarters.
Velvet leaf is perhaps the #1 broadleaf weed in both corn and soybeans here in Iowa. And when we look at all weeds, including grass weeds, velvet leaf would be #2 behind the foxtails. There's no question that the infestations in Iowa are widespread, that it's an economically problematic weed. It's one that growers understand is difficult to control, has long life, seeds in the soil, and is going to be a problem for a long time. And so they're particularly concerned about consistent velvet leaf control in both corn and soybean.
With common lamb's quarters, we have it scattered throughout most of our fields in the southwestern part of the state, and both in corn and soybeans, it certainly becomes a major problem. One of the things that we've noticed in recent years is some of the herbicides that we're using, particularly in soybeans, is not very effective on common lamb's quarters.
Resource is a new class of chemistry, unlike any other mode of action in the market today, making it the ideal resistance management tool. Used as a tank mix and rotated year to year, Resource gives you the ability to vary chemical modes of action and is an excellent alternative to an ALS inhibitor.
One of the main ways to prevent weed resistance to herbicides is to rotate and or mix different modes of actions of herbicides. And so it's always a benefit when we can find herbicides with new modes of action that we can use to help us prevent weed resistance from happening. So a new mode of action, a new herbicide like Resource can be a great tool for preventing weed resistance.
What makes Resource different is its active ingredient, flumicoric pentyl. Unlike an ALS inhibitor, it disrupts the entire plant cell membrane, making it difficult for plants to develop resistance.
Well, there are several management strategies that growers can use to help reduce the potential for developing weed resistance problems. One of the management strategies is to use different modes of actions of herbicides. If we continually use the same mode of action of herbicide on a particular area, we're greatly increasing our chances to develop weed resistance problems. By selecting herbicides with different modes of actions, either within the same crop or as we rotate from one crop to the next, that's certainly going to help reduce the opportunity to get weed resistance developing in that field.
Resource's new chemistry also means it can be used safely on corn and soybeans with no rotational restrictions or carryover. Its chemistry works quickly, with visible results within 24 hours. and you can count on Resource to be effective in a variety of conditions. Resource's effectiveness has been extensively tested across the Midwest by growers, dealers, custom applicators, and universities in over 30 states.
We use Resource in 3 tank mix programs this year on soybeans. In this particular field, we used Resource in Pursuit, good control of velvet leaf and lamb's quarter. Very happy with the results. Another program we had was Cobra, Resource, and Select. That is also a very good program. Good results from that one. The third program was Resource, Bazagran, and Select. That too gave us very acceptable results on velvet leaf and lamb's quarters.
Our experience over several years with Resource in both corn and soybeans has been particularly good on velvet leaf control and on the pigweed complex that we have. It's done a very consistent job. We've seen minimal crop injury from the treatment and has performed fairly consistently.
Lamb's quarter is probably the biggest problem for us. It's extremely hard to control, and Resource appeared to control lamb's quarter exceptionally well.
This new chemical Resource addresses broadleaf problems in both corn and beans, and we're fortunate that when I have the greatest problem with, for say, velvet leaf in corn, it's an early problem. When I have problem with velvet leaf in soybeans, it's a later in the season problem. So here's a chemical that can help us out at both ends of the spectrum, or the time frame, and it do an excellent job. It'll attack small velvet leaf, large velvet leaf. It works great.
Corn growers can tank mix Resource with atrazine, Banville, 2,4-D, and Accent. Resource is also flexible as a tank mix product for soybean growers and can be teamed with Cobra, Select, Basagran, Classic, Pursuit, and Scepter. When tank mixed with these herbicides, Resource greatly increases velvet leaf and lamb's quarters control. It has also shown effectiveness on other weeds, making it the ideal product to add control for a variety of weed problems.
In my specific case, all my broadleaf chemicals are applied post-emergence, and the Resource as a tank mix partner with what I've been using has just enhanced all my performance, and I really see it as an excellent chemical.
Of course, control of the 2 big problem weeds in corn and soybeans is the main reason Resource is bound to be the new tank mix favorite, but it also offers additional benefits that everyone will appreciate. Resource's low use rates, only 4 ounces per acre, make it a cost-effective addition to any tank mix. It breaks down quickly with a half-life of 4 to 6 days, so soil carryover isn't a concern. In fact, Resource was the first food-use pesticide to be granted reduced risk status by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Resource reduces worry about drift, since it doesn't volatilize, and its non-restricted use gives you added peace of mind. What's more, Resource is rain-fast within 1 hour for added application flexibility. Of course, these are general guidelines. Before actually applying Resource, be sure to read the label carefully and follow all use instructions. Resource's unique chemistry makes it an ideal tool for today's demanding weed control needs. And as farming continues to evolve, it's good to know that products like Resource are being created to meet the ever-changing needs of growers, helping them stay profitable season after season.
We've had Resource in our test trials for over 5 years in both corn and soybeans, and it's always done an excellent job. In fact, I hate to hear it when people say they control really tall weeds, but we have controlled weeds up to 2 foot tall with Resource. So it's a very good herbicide for velvet leaf control, by far the best post-emergence herbicide out there.